Hi everyone, Ray from Pro String with another video tutorial on how to restring, well precisely today, a badminton racket. I'll start off and emphasize, I can't tell you enough how important it is to make sure the racket is not on tightly. I'll redo this for you guys to see. Right, I've got my tension spreaders. Very important for badminton. It's not to say that it's impossible to do them without, but it's very, very recommendable. As the name of them would suggest, tension spreader, it does help spread the tension, and it doesn't allow all the tension to go on just 2 points, let's say, on a normal simple tennis or squash fixture. I actually did myself start with just a single one, and then I noticed that it wasn't really working. I had to be very careful and string at lower tensions. Therefore, I opted to use the tension spreaders, which actually comes with this Wilson Bayardo original anyway. But there you have it. Make sure there's lots of movement, but not a massive amount. Don't go over the top either. Obviously, when you're setting your racket on the machine, find your middle. This is a 22 by 22 stringing pattern, if I'm not mistaken. Yonex, this is a Yonex Duora 6. We will be stringing at a balance of control and power as the client has requested. We're going to go 24 pounds, 25 pounds is your typical balance between control and power for a badminton racket. Also varies on the racket. So most rackets will tell you somewhere. This one has it engraved here. And actually, I'm very glad I checked this out, because it's actually 17 to 22 pounds. 22 pounds max. On this racket, we're going to go 20 pounds for a balance of control. Has a very flexible shaft. It is 4U. It's a 4U17. The engraving is quite minimal. Normally it's just engraving, very, very light engraving, just over here. Just over here. Normally it comes in a slightly different color, a white, but white on white, very hard to see. But anyway, nonetheless, we're ready to go. We found our middle. Racket is nicely on the machine. We're going to do a one piece, in other words, a 2-knot stringing job. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and a quarter, let's say, just to be safe. So like I did, always check, make sure you know what tensions the racket can handle. It does vary a lot in badminton by racket, but most rackets, I would say, anywhere between 20 and 30. You can obviously go always as low as you would like, but not as high as you'd like. When I started out stringing badminton rackets, it was maybe a little bit more careless. I'm going back 6 or 7 years now, and yeah, you know, I learned my lesson, put it that way, without going into details. But anyway, nonetheless, we have our middle 2 main strings, which indicates that is the middle. 1, 2. And now we have 11 to each side, therefore 11 minus 1. So we're going to do 10, and I count them along the frame, which seems to be the best way that works for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nice and easy, pretty straightforward. Leave yourself a nice little amount there. Maybe that's too much, not to have too much or not too little. Depending on the machine you are using, you may need more, you may need less. Normally on this machine here, well, actually, I leave myself probably 2 hands worth, let's say, like that, because the tension head is, I don't know, maybe 30 centimeters away, give or take. So here we go. And as you see, don't do that. As I'm talking, I was meant to do that. moved the string out of the way and I went to tighten that side. Wrong side. Cool. Don't do that. Don't tighten the wrong side. So here we have it. Last racket I did was a tennis racket, therefore need to close the caps a bit more. So I've made quite a few video tutorials today, maybe 5, 6, 4, 5 or so. Tennis, today's done tennis and badmintons I think, or today mainly tennis. I'm kind of just trying to throw as much content out there because I do get a very big mix of type of rackets, not only tennis, squash or badminton, but different brands and different models within each sector or sport. So I'm trying my best. It's my third day or so now, and I am really starting to feel not necessarily the physical tiredness, maybe it is the physical tiredness as well from standing here, which I do anyway, but I am a tennis player. Not that I compete anymore, but I have been playing or training more than normal. Monday I did a double session, I did an hour and 15, 20. To later do another session in the evening, and then last night another session late one, 9 to 10:30 roughly, give or take, but it was doubles. But I am going to be 38 in June, so I'm feeling it more and more. As you do. Don't want to get old, but at least I'm fighting it and trying to do as much sport as possible. Anyway, so 3 strings to each side. We're compensating, always keeping everything as symmetrical as possible. You don't want the frame to suffer or put it under a big amount of stress. Therefore, do not string one side. So many people do this, but hopefully there's enough information out there these days. Hopefully maybe you stumble across my video where people should have access to enough information these days where they can find out these types of things. I know there's lots of tennis videos out there. I don't know how much badminton stuff's out there, but again, my purpose of these videos is try to put as much content out there with different types of rackets within 3 different sports: tennis, squash and badminton. So now this is the 6th main, so last main on this side, and I'm going to go back to this side and do 3 more. I do run a large racket restringing company in London. We do sell tennis, squash and badminton rackets. I'd like to think my stringing badminton wise is quite professional. But saying that, I'm not the most knowledgeable because I'm not a badminton player. I can play badminton. I've actually only played a couple of times properly. Seem to have a half decent level, upper intermediate maybe, considering I've only played a couple of times, but I held my own. Nice sport, it's completely different to tennis, lots of overheads, different footwork altogether. Maybe I should play a bit of squash. Apologies, phone's not on silence, which is fine. If it's not important, I will call them back later. One second, my colleague. Just checking, so it is my colleague. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I need garments for that. 5, 6. I got a bag full downstairs. Probably got over 10 rackets. My bad. So 5th main. What was I saying? So yeah, run we run one of the largest racket restringing companies in London. Started it from home. Now we have 5 locations, one in the city near Liverpool Street, another one in Mayfair, another one in Fulham. And then we have 2 workshops which are also drop-off points in Hammersmith and Acton, not far apart from each other, Hammersmith and Acton if you know London. And we are looking to open one in South London, SW15, not that far away from the famous Wimbledon. Hopefully over the next week or 2, and we're looking to expand at other locations as well. But as you may see, there's a couple of my videos that I'm teaching a young kid named Kai. Seems to be quite eager to make a few bucks or a few pounds. So I'm trying to teach him up nicely so that way we can get him on board and expand. But it's a bit tricky when you're teaching some people that either have a job or they don't have that time to sit and learn. I'm happy to teach people for free as long as they're able to later then string and obviously pay them. But of course, once they get good or whatever it is, maybe not necessarily this kid, but it's happened before. People go on and they do their own thing, which is completely valid as long as they don't start stealing clients and stuff, which I have seen before as well. And as soon as you find out that someone's doing you as they say in the UK, doing you a wronging, so not being correct, then I will just say goodbye immediately. I've done it once before and would happily do it again, because it's not fair. We're a family run business and I've worked very hard to get to where we are. So look, 9 each side, guys, 9 each side. We have skipped, I'll go through this with you guys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, skip 1, which is a cross, 8, skip 1, another cross, and 9, which is obviously exactly the same on this side. I'm going to do 9, that's 9, yep, that's the 9th string, skip 1 again, another cross, and 10. Most Yonex have the same stringing patterns, I find. Maybe not the Yonex 88D Tour, I believe it is. It's got 1 less or 2 less crosses. I want to say 1. Anyway, I think I strung one yesterday or today, and don't know if I put it up yet. There will be a video of that if it's not already up there. Okay, so this is our short side, and when I say short side, it's the side where you have the shorter piece of string, hence a short side, and it also means that's the side you're going to tie the knot on. Excuse me. Okay, so 20 pounds of tension, we are going to go to our 15% mode on the knot button, which I have programmed here on my display. And 23, so 23 plus 15% puts us up to, 20 pounds of tension plus 15% is 23 pounds. Okay, so this is a brand new racket, by the way, guys. So the grommets will be tighter than normal. Okay, that's gone through quite nicely. Always a bonus if you don't need to use the awl. So I normally just tighten it with my hand. I leave it open, and then I will weave 3 strings. This may not be common with a lot of people, but I found when I started stringing badminton, it was a little bit more difficult than tennis or squash, maybe a lot more in fact, because all I really had done was tennis, and then I taught myself squash, which isn't all that difficult, very similar to tennis. You just need to understand a few different stringing patterns out there, maybe a few other things as well that could be helpful, and hopefully I can help you guys with that on some squash tutorials. There we go. This won't go through just that easy, and my angle's quite clean, the angle at the end of the string. So being a new racket, I think I'm going to have to use the awl, and I find that just turning the awl, making like some small circles, as you can see with my hand, just push it through and circle around, because that way, just in case you have a very sharp end on the awl, if you've had it for a while, it probably it dulls a little bit. It gets duller and duller as you go along, just like most of your tools. Maybe not so much the pliers, but your cutters. I changed my cutters. You know what? These don't last me all that long. Every 6 months I'm finding myself buying a new one. They crack. They literally, I go to cut something and it just breaks in half. Most recently it happened again. Where are my, here you go, talking about tools. I have a little compartment here just next to my hand down here to the right, for some tools. There's 2 compartments, one at the top and one at the bottom. Again, new racket. The grommets are fresh, so I still might not be able to get through. Let's see if it's kind to me, and it is. Cool. Yonex racket crosses. Yonex badminton racket. Yonex badminton crosses. You can tell I'm tired. It gets to this time of day and I start losing my words. Cool. 20 pounds on my mains, and Yonex recommend to string their badminton rackets on the cross strings, 0.5 of a pound. So you're looking at probably 0.2 of a kilo. They recommend upping the tension ever so slightly, 0.5 pounds, or probably 0.2 kilos. So, like I said just a moment ago, I pulled 3 across because I found out that it was just so much easier to string pulling the first 3 across, or weaving, should I say. Weaving the first 3 crosses from the bottom to the top, as you always do in badminton. Never string top to bottom. It's very bad for the racket. Tennis is always top to bottom, and squash can vary depending on the racket that you're stringing. Now, the reason I say I weave 3 is because, so as you saw, I hold off, and so I make the knot, but I hold off on tightening the knot. So as you saw, I tightened it, but I had already weaved these 3 first. Why? Well, simple reason is because a lot of the holes are covered by your main strings, the strings that go up and down. So I just found out one day when I was like, you know what if I don't tie the knot and I give myself some more slack? Because as you can, I don't know, maybe you can't see, but right now there's, string on string pretty much. So firstly you got the strings covered by the mains, and then the crosses. So with badminton it is a bit different. So yeah, that's the reason behind that. Hopefully this goes through nicely. My sharp edge is not so sharp anymore, but it has gone through. Cool. Using your hand to bring the string up and down constantly. Can't reinforce that enough. Lots of poor stringers out there, poor stringing. I guess there are a lot of people that are doing it as a side gig, but this is my main job. I have pretty much walked away from coaching years ago now and just focused on racket restringing. We're probably getting averaging, I don't know, 40 to 50 rackets at the moment a week. So probably just a couple hundred, maybe just under a couple hundred, few shy maybe, of 200 rackets a month. I have a colleague that helps me out in the evenings. We offer different types of services on the spot service from our workshops, but not in our city locations, which are just receptions in office buildings. We offer next day service for £8 extra if you drop off before 12 p.m. for example. We offer for £10 extra by appointment. We offer on the spot service. So if you come to me, you call me and you say, Ray, I want to get my racket strung in the next hour, 2 hours, or whatever it might be. If we have availability, then we'll book the person in. I always make the example, it's like a haircut. You need to make a booking. If you want your haircut or your racket strung right now, you need to make an appointment. And then we'll string your racket, and we always tell the client 30 minutes, but it's always done, typically done quicker. But it depends what they want as well. If they want racket re-gripping, or anything else. Well, it might add on a few more minutes. But as you can see here, I am talking a lot, which I guess is the whole purpose of this video, trying to give you guys as much info as possible, whether it's restringing or trying to run a racket restringing company. I get a lot of people saying, how are you so successful in this way? I gotta tell you guys, biggest part is, apart from being a consistent good stringer, the most important part, apart from being consistent in everything you do, is being in a city with a lot of people. London, if I would have done this, I lived 2 years in New York, my eldest daughter was born there, we lived Upper West Side. If I would have done this in New York, I would have done incredibly well. But at that point I was a full-time tennis coach, going back 8 years, 7-8 years. And then I came to London and I started, funny story, I started working for somebody else with a racket restringing company in the city. I'm not gonna lie, I did kind of copy his version of it, but just much better. Because quite frankly, the guy that employed me, well, employed, I was self-employed. Yeah, he made me pay for my travel. He wanted me to pick up the rackets, string them, drop them off. He would pay me £8 per racket, not all that bad, but what really pissed me off was he wanted me to buy his stock. So I used to have to buy the man's stock. So when I started working for him, he had a little bit of stock left. So you go to find the job and you think, okay, I'm gonna make money. So my initial investment to work for this guy was £200 or whatever it was, £100, £200. So there's me looking for work and I have to fork out a whole bunch of money for this guy so he can make money. So I'm buying his stock strings for him to make money. Wouldn't pay my travel. There was no guarantee of how many rackets there would be, which is fine, that's understandable. But the guy couldn't string himself, so he was constantly looking for stringers, which is also fine. But of course, you can't make your employees or your staff, the people who are taking care of you and helping you make money, you can't tell them to go buy strings. It's like you come to work for me tomorrow, you come help me for whatever, a few rackets here, a few rackets there. Okay, fine, I'll pay you £8 a racket, but you got to buy my string, and then I'll reimburse you. Like, don't know about that. And then of course, you had the issue of him not wanting to share the labels with you either. So people would drop the rackets off, they would send them an email. I can't remember exactly how it went. They would send them an email, and then the labels just had names on them. No phone numbers, no emails. So they would send them their own personal details. I don't want to show you guys personal information, of course. So my labels, of course, my employees, or no, they're not my employees, my other stringers that help me from time to time, which is pretty much daily, they see everything. They see the customer's name, their phone number, their email, so they know if they need to call them or whatever. So I trust my guys to not go behind my back and go, oh, now I'm going to steal a few clients to make 100 extra. Which, I get it, it's tempting. For someone who's making average money or whatever it is, but ultimately all you're doing is screwing yourself. But anyway, that's a little bit of a business talk from this point of view. So it's interesting making these videos because I keep talking and effectively talking to myself. Talking to myself, huh? But I'm doing a good job. This video, I have to say, I'm doing a good job of talking to myself. I'm not talking much about stringing in itself. So, we've got a shared hole here. Please go through nicely. Be nice to me. Alright, it's understandable. My edge, or end of the string, is not sharp anymore. Let's see if I'm right. And then if I am, it'll go through nice and easy. Again, it's a share hole, but it is a new racket, fresh. There you go. So that just proves that if you cut your string sharp at the edge, give yourself a good angle, nice sharp angle, you should be good. Sorry guys, just checking my time. 24 minutes. 24 minutes and we're almost done. Okay, 24 minutes and lots of talking, and some good progress has been made. Let's go. Come through. Go through. No? Okay. Give myself a nice good edge, but this time be very careful. What I'm about to do, I don't even recommend you doing it, and I hope I don't get caught. Right, just a little push, just a little push. If your awl is very sharp in you, be very careful. This awl I have here has been used a lot. So there you go, it did come through nice and easy in the end. Yeah, so I don't make my stringers by my string. That's on me. It's my business. I pay the guys accordingly per racket. If they have to go pick up rackets in the city for me, specifically for me, they can use my electric bicycles, or they can take public transport, and I'll pay for their public transport. No worries. For the sake of £5, £6, £7, I'm not going to argue about that. As long as they're always good with me, I will always be good with them, the way it should be. Coincidentally, all the stringers that do strings for me are taught by myself. I do have high expectations of my stringers. I really do. But yeah, no complaints really. No. I mean, I do have a lot of experience, so sometimes there might be a hiccup here or there. I did a badminton racket last night, which I'd never seen before, a Mizuno, very uncommon racket, for that matter, brand, and I was a bit stumped. I did manage to do it, but there was just not enough information about it online either. So I tried backing my knowledge up with at least a picture online, but I couldn't find even the right model, so I had to kind of wing it and find out where the the client wanted 4 knots. I would have done it no problem with 2. However, this racket, I mean, I don't know if there's certain rackets out there. I mean, my guess is that there isn't, that, you know, every racket is 2 knot or 4 knot. But last night's racket, I mean, it's still here actually. I wanted to throw it out the window at one point. I got it done, 40-ish minutes, but it took me much longer than normal. Surely because I just couldn't figure out where the knots went. Well, at least the 3rd knot, should I say. The first 2 were no problem, but because it was a 4 knot, I was trying to find a 3rd knot down here, a space for a 3rd one in any case, and the string was not going in anywhere, and then you start getting a bit frustrated. Yeah, I managed. Used the awl, the pointy tool, and I managed, luckily for me. Okay, so I'm still trying to string 1 in front. You just saw the string come out. I don't have enough string to keep stringing 1 in front. I just need to string 1 at a time. So weave 1 string, pull 1 string. As to weave 1 string, weave another one, and then pull, and then weave again, and so on. Now, as you've just seen, weave, pull, or tighten, and again. We're on our last cross, guys. Our last cross string. Feeling it today. Had a late night stringing and making videos, and I'm feeling it now. 6:49 London, UK time. Have uploaded a decent amount of videos already the last couple of days. I have a bunch more from today that I have not, or even last night, that I haven't uploaded yet. Right, tie off knot, finishing knot, however you want to call it. Right, my angle on this string is quite good. It is just more so to do with the new grommet, again being a new racket. And actually today is the birthday of my wife. Happy birthday. And my son. wife, I won't say her age. She may get my YouTube channel closed down. As you've seen, guys, I've gone under, back, over, and through the first initial loop, which is a single knot. I've gone down, around, and I'm going to go through my initial first knot. Make sure you go through the right side. Pull the string, not by much, not too much force. End of the day, these strings are very thin in badminton. Actually, Yonex BG65 being one of the thicker ones, 0.70 millimeters. For players who use plastic shuttlecocks, if you like. All right, guys. Well, there you have it. So going back to what kind of string might be best for you. The there's a bit of a marking there. Oh, that's another very good thing. Cleaning your machine. I'll make a video separate to that, but it's good to WD-40. Use a kitchen towel or a cloth, an old t-shirt, old cloth, or kitchen cloth, and get into the rails a little bit, maybe on the grommets if you're feeling some kind of non-smoothness or yeah. But I clean my machine weekly to keep it in good condition. But yes, going back to strings, Yonex BG65 is really for people who are looking to either not break strings frequently. Not looking to break strings frequently. Yonex BG65, more durable but less feel, touch and power. And then you have Yonex BG80, Yonex BG66, Ultimax, Yonex BG. The list goes on. You've got the Aero Bite, which is super thin. So anything that's less than 0.70 is normally good for feathers. Feathers are a lot less aggressive on the strings. Plastic is very aggressive on the strings, hence why we want to use a slightly thicker string. It is okay to use any string does go with any type of shuttles. However, you may encounter, I've seen it before, people kind of go against my recommendation, which I even taught myself about different strings and different shuttles, what they do to the strings. And there you have it. Feathers is not as aggressive, therefore you can use a thinner string. And a thicker string, you want to be looking to use something thicker, as Yonex BG65. Ashaway have plenty of other models, but it seems that Yonex is by far the more popular type of badminton strings, at least brand-wise. Guys, I will stop talking. It's been a pleasure. I hope it has been for you as well. Straighten up your strings if they are not. I didn't really look much. I think I did, but I saw that they're quite straight, which I'm really happy and pleased about. And that is music to my ears, with only 20 pounds on the mains by 20.5, as Yonex recommended. Put your attention up 0.5. All right, guys. Happy stringing, and hopefully there was some useful stuff on here. Take care. Bye-bye.